Well, hi, folks. Welcome to Flash Editorials for December 29th, 2012. I'm Russell Longcore, owner and editor of DumpDC.com. Flash Editorials is presented by DumpDC.com. DumpDC is the world leader in secessionist thought. We show the world that secession is the only solution for personal liberty and property rights on this planet. Now let's go straight to the news tonight. We got a lot to cover. In the Nation, Part 1. On this last Saturday of 2012, there's not much going on in the USA. The fiscal cliff is either going to happen or it's not going to happen. You'll see in a few days what goes on there, but it ain't pretty. But one story did come to mind. I saw a story yesterday that General Norman Schwarzkopf, one of the most celebrated military men in the last 25, 30, maybe even 50 years, has died at age 78. Now, Schwarzkopf gained notoriety as the general that ran the Persian Gulf War in January of 1991 that liberated Kuwait in a 100-hour ground offensive. Now, to his credit, he was against the invasion of Iraq, saying that America would be, quote, a dinosaur caught in a tar pit if it entered Iraq, which actually became a prediction and then a reality. But despite how beloved the general was by his troops and the hero status that he enjoyed with the American people, the general still invaded another country to protect America's perceived interests in Kuwait, and that is all about oil. Excuse me, that is not heroism. That is invading another country. You know, there was another general named, he was a Marine Corps general, 4-star Marine Corps general. His name was Smedley Butler. I almost said Bedley Smutler, but that wouldn't have been right. Smedley Butler. And Butler wrote that in his military career, which spanned almost 35 years, he was a, quote, high-class muscle man for the big business, for Wall Street, and for the bankers, end quote. He also said that, quote, war is a racket, end quote, and he actually had a book that was by that title, War is a Racket. Schwarzkopf was no different than Butler was. Now, rest in peace, General, but I wonder if God in heaven will look kindly on a man who wore a military uniform and ordered other people to murder brown-skinned people for oil. In the Nation, Part 2. Plain women everywhere. Here's a story for you. A funny thing happened in Iowa recently. A young lady named Melissa Wilson was fired from her job because her boss considered her too irresistible. Yes, you heard me right. I said too irresistible. And the Iowa Supreme Court has now ruled that Nelson's termination did not constitute sex discrimination. Dr. James Knight, who is a dentist, hired Nelson as a dental assistant in 1999. She worked for him for about 10 years. But toward the end, Dr. Knight found his dental assistant, Nelson, too alluring. Allegedly, the two were texting each other after work hours. The wife got wind of this, and the dentist and his wife fired Nelson under the pretext that the girl was a threat to their marriage. Quoting the Supreme Court, quote, "The question we must answer is whether an employee who has not engaged in flirtatious conduct may be lawfully terminated simply because the boss views the employee as an irresistible attraction," end quote. The court said yes, she can be. It's okay. It's legal to get rid of somebody just because they're attractive. So she was actually canned for her hotness. So all you hot women out there that dress provocatively at work, be aware that you could be placing your job at risk. You could actually get fired for your hotness. In international news, Russian President Vladimir Putin, we'll call it Putin. Okay, Putin. So you say Putin, I say Putin, let's call the whole thing off, never mind. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a law just recently, this month, within the last few days, that puts an end to Russian children being adopted by American families. Now, the law is considered a retaliation against Washington for a law that Mr. Obama signed on December 14th called the Magnitsky Act. It's after a guy who was persecuted for his actions and beliefs in Russia. Now, this law imposes U.S. travel and financial restrictions on alleged human rights abusers in Russia. And that means that it's who Washington thinks is a human rights abuser, not what Russia thinks. Now, according to U.S. State Department reports, Americans adopted close to 1,000 children just last year from Russia. So, all you married couples that are desperate to adopt a child, your government in D.C., led by Mr. Obama, President Steppenfetchit, has just shut one door in your faces for no good reason. Send them a card. Tell them thanks. In the economy, the number of actual initial unemployment claims filed under state programs unadjusted totaled 440,887 in the week ending December 22nd. This is an increase of 39,458 over the previous week. Now, folks, that's over 440,000 people that didn't have a Merry Christmas, and they're not going to have a Merry New Year or a Happy New Year, and that was just last week. That's equal to the population of cities like Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Denver, Portland. And this has been happening every week for months, and actually for about 3 years. I keep asking you this question. How is it possible for new unemployment claims to top 350,000 at the very least every week for the past 3 years and have a federally reported unemployment rate less than 8%? Now, if you multiply 350,000 times 52 to get 1 year, then times 3, it's 54 million people. 350,000 a week for 3 years totals over 54 million people. Now, sure, many had an unemployment claim and then they found a new job. But remember, the Labor Department does not count those who are still unemployed and have stopped looking for work when they calculate the unemployment rate. Face it, my friends, the real unemployment rate here in America is about 25%, just like the Depression that happened almost 100 years ago. In business, recently, I've been learning about new methods of advertising. But now, print media is dying. Almost every one of the major magazines and daily newspapers in America are losing subscribers and have been for 20 years. The post office, where flyers and postcards are mailed, that's dying. They are in desperate financial situation. Email marketing is tough because people get so many unwanted emails that most times they just delete the emails unopened. Television ads are dying when you consider that anyone with a digital video recorder, a DVR, that's what that means, can record programming and view it later. And when they view it later, they usually delete all the commercials. You do it, and so do I. So we consumers try our best to avoid ads. At the same time, businesses and other organizations want to spread their message and grow. So how do we come together in a media that we both like and both will use? Well, consider this. Nearly every person over age 10 has a cell phone. I mean, I'm talking about age 10 to age 100. Everybody's got a cell phone. Try to count, think of all the people that you know, and try to count on one hand the number of people over age 10 that don't have a cell phone. I think you'll probably have fingers left over. And most phones can send and receive texts. Now, think about your own situation. When you get a phone call and you don't recognize the number, don't you usually let that call go to voicemail? I know I do. I always figure that if the caller thinks it's that important, he'll leave a message, and then I'll listen to it when it's convenient for me to listen to it, and I'll decide then if I'll return the call. And if they don't return a call, it wasn't really that important now, was it? But what do you do with a text message? Studies have shown that 95% of the text messages are opened within 1 hour of delivery. Think about that. 95% of the text messages are opened by the recipient within 1 hour of delivery. Now, I always look at my texts. I look at my text, even if I don't want the text, even if it's something that I haven't asked for. I look at it and then do something with it, either answer it or delete it or both. Another study shows that people under age 30 use far more texts than phone calls. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important for kids that they have unlimited text, because they may text dozens of times during the day and maybe not even actually make a phone call, but use text over and over and over. So it's widely accepted. So if you're any kind of a business that relies on customer relationships, you are in need of new creative ways to contact your customers. Text marketing gets your message in front of people through the device that has now become an extension of their body, which is the mobile phone. And this is tonight's commercial message. I've just added this text marketing to my own internet marketing business to drive traffic to my websites and blogs. And I must tell you, I started this where you text to a certain number. I put that into my blogs, and I started getting leads, and people were reading the texts and clicking on it and sending a number to 90210, and I'll talk about that in a moment. They were doing that within the first 30 minutes. And it's been working great ever since then. It continues to work, and I'm adding it to more and more and more places that I can in all of my marketing. Plus, I've begun to sell this service because it's a service related to the other life essential services that I market for, which is energy and mobile phones and mobile phone service. I mean, think about it. Mobile phones are a life essential today, aren't they? And nobody will voluntarily live without one, will they? But a mobile phone is just a paperweight without some content, and people are hungry for content, and the content is life essential too. So I'm adding this to my business mix and very excited about what it's going to do. So here's what you should do, or here's what I'm asking you to do today. Pick up your mobile phone and text the word ring ring to 90210. That's ring ring to the number 90210. And when you do, you'll see how the system works, and you'll also be learning about one of my businesses. And for doing this for me, I say to you, thank you very much. In sports, the Atlanta Falcons now have a 13-2 record and are the top seeds in the NFL playoffs and have clinched home field advantage for the playoffs. Now, amazingly, I was watching a game, I think Sunday, and I think the color commentator was John Gruden, who used to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach. Irascible little fellow. Looks kind of like the doll Chucky. But in any event, I mean, this color commentator, because he's paid to make noise in the booth and fill in and try to be interesting in between the plays running, toward the end of the game, when it was clear that Atlanta was winning, said something about they have a 12-2 record, which will now go to 13-2. And he said something like this: it's yet to be determined whether Atlanta is the real deal. Gruden, are you serious? 13-2, and you still wonder if they're the real deal? But I digress. The Birds play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, curiously, which have a 6-9 record, this Sunday at home in Atlanta. And the Falcons hardly ever lose at home. Now, wouldn't it be great to see the Falcons in the Super Bowl? Wouldn't it be even greater to see the Falcons bring home the trophy, and all those Falcons, including Pro Bowler Tony Gonzalez, get the Super Bowl ring? What a great day that would be. And finally, in entertainment, as 2012 expires, let's look at a list of the celebrities that have expired and taken the eternal dirt nap in 2012. This is a long list. Listen to it. Fontella Bass, a singer. She did back in the 60s. Come on and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. I'm going to do this every time I get to a singer, so just get ready. Ray Collins, frontman for the Mothers of Invention. Charles Durning, an actor, just in the last few days. Jack Klugman, an actor. Oscar Madison on The Odd Couple. Jack Hanlon, one of the Little Rascals. Ravi Shankar, Sitar Masker. sitar master. A guy was fabulous with the sitar. Another one, Jenny Rivera, Latina pop star. Don't know anything she did. Dave Brubeck, jazz legend. Everybody in the planet, I think, has heard Take Five. Da 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 da. Okay. Major Harris, who was the lead singer for the Delphonics. Can't do him. Herbert Lom, who was best known for his Pink Panther roles. Dorothy McGuire, one of the singing McGuire sisters of the 1950s. Joe South, singer-songwriter. He did Poke Salad Annie, the gator's got your granny, chomp, chomp, chomp. Okay. Michael Clark Duncan, an actor. Phyllis Diller, comedian. Ah ha ha ha. That's kind of the way she laughed. Tony Scott, who was a filmmaker, actually made the film Top Gun. Scott McKenzie, who was a singer-songwriter back from the 60s, he did a little song called San Francisco, and it goes like this. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. I'm sure you've heard of it, sung way better than I did. Another one, William Wyndham, who was an Emmy-winning actor. Another one, Ron Palillo, who played Arnold Horshack in Welcome Back, Kotter. You remember, Mr. Kotter, Mr. Mr. Kotter. And then another guy who was on the same cast, Robert Hedges, who played Epstein on Welcome Back, Kotter. Both of them died this year. Tough year for Welcome Back, Kotter fans. Another one, Miss Melody, who is a rapper. Don't know anything about her. John Lord, the keyboardist for Deep Purple. Kitty Wells, a country music legend. I'm not going to try to do Miss Wells. Ernest Borgnine, an actor. Andy Griffith, a TV icon we all know. Nora Ephron died this year, the screenwriter of movies like Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail, and others. Don Grady, actor best known as the oldest brother on TV's My Three Sons. You probably saw that on cable. Ann Rutherford, an actress who played Scarlett O'Hara's sister in Gone with the Wind. Frank Cady, the actor best known as Sam Drucker on Green Acres and Beverly Hillbillies and others. He was the storekeeper. Let's see. Bob Welsh, Fleetwood Mac guitarist. He died this year. Robin Gibb, famous Bee Gee, died of colon cancer this year. Doug Dillard, a bluegrass banjo player. Donna Summer, Grammy-winning singer. She worked hard for the money. So hard for it, honey. Okay. Chuck Brown, a guitarist. Donald Duck Dunn, a bass player for Clapton, Otis Redding, Muddy Waters. He was at that level. Adam Yauch, or Yauch, one of the Beastie Boys. He had to work hard. He had to, what was it? You have to fight for your right to party. Wow. It's getting weird. George Lindsay, the actor best known as Goober on The Andy Griffith Show. Levon Helm, the founder of the band. Dick Clark, TV host and producer. Mike Wallace, obstreperous newsman on 60 Minutes. Mike Hosick, drummer for the Doobie Brothers. Jimmy Ellis, vocalist. Davy Jones, famous monkey. Yeah, I saw her face, now I'm a believer. Okay. Whitney Houston, pop singer. No, I'm not going to do any Whitney Houston, although her video, I get so emotional every time I think of you. Love that video to this day. Ben Gazzara, actor, died this year. Don Cornelius of Soul Train. James Ferrantino, actor. And finally, blues legend Etta James, who sang the song we all come to know and love, At Last. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. Okay, that's it. We wish them all eternal peace, love, and light. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you for watching. This is Russ Longcore talking to you. For all here at Dump DC, good night and good luck. Dump DC, 6 letters that will change history. Happy 2013, folks. You're going to need it. Copyright 2012, Russell D. Longcore. Permission to reprint in whole or in part is gladly granted, providing full credit is given. See ya, guys. See ya.